How are you?
So, good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm surprised you're not in the office. You usually go in the office, don't you?
I go in like Mondays and Tuesdays, but like this morning I had a Zoom with a fellow colleague and he was showing me some stuff and I was showing him some stuff. And I mean, I was kind of doing my learning at home today, so I
Okay,
was like,
yeah. I mean,
sometimes I feel like the office is a distraction, like because I have my friends there, we talk. But I
yeah.
was trying to get some actual work done, and focusing on my goals. That's why I was saying you want to talk about a little bit of like a goal setting too, because it's
Oh,
the beginning of the third quarter,
yeah.
wait, the fourth quarter, the beginning of the fourth quarter.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I have a whole list of questions, and what I
I
was gonna
like
say
your
is,
questions.
yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
I do like your questions though. So,
Thanks. Yeah, yeah. I have a whole list, and we will talk about the long-term goals. But what you were saying about the office, what I was gonna say is that's what's nice about our job is that we don't have to go in if we don't want to. We go in if we want to, when we want to, or we stay home. We have that freedom and flexibility, which is really nice, right?
oh, definitely. Yeah, I love that. And, as long as you're able to be disciplined and do your work that you're supposed to do, whether you're home or in the office, it doesn't matter,
Right. As long as you're working, right?
as long as
I
you're
mean, right,
working.
right. So how long have you been in real estate now?
This is my seventh year. So I'm going into my seventh year.
Nice.
And yeah, I got into real estate. I wasn't sure. So I was in finance previously. I started on finance. I majored in marketing, but I ended up in finance because I wanted to learn more about finance and investing. But that was going to be temporary, but I ended up staying in finance for like 10 years. And then
That's
after
how it
10,
is.
I know it's a long time, but I did end up loving it. I loved what I did. I was Series 7 registered, Series 63 registered. I worked in retail and, I learned a lot. And I worked under some great people, great mentors, and people that taught me lifelong skills and that I carry to this day
So what
about
made
dotting your
why did
I.
you switch over from finance to real estate? Why'd you switch over?
So I was a stay-at-home mom for a while too. I was a stay-at-home mom for probably 10 years. And then in between, I was working, I was still working part-time, working different jobs, but then I thought real estate would align with me being home more and also making an income when I wanted to go back full time. So it made sense. And my kids were a little older at that point.
Mhm.
So I wasn't worried about them per se. Like when they were younger, they were, if they were sick, I would have to go get them, the doctor's visits, this. And that. It's like it's a full-time job being a mom. It is.
Yeah.
So combined with being a mom, I was like, what can I do? Um, continue being a mom and being there for my kids because my husband works so much. He's not at home sometimes. So I need to be home, but I was ready to start a career again. And I thought real estate was the perfect job where I could have that flexibility, work when I can, and, also be there for my family.
Right. I feel like even though I don't have kids, I feel like it's a really good job for people who do because then they can start when they want and pick up their kids when they want and they have that freedom and flexibility, which is really good when you have little kids, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, they weren't that little. They were already in middle school, high school, but I started later. I guess I could have started earlier. I just didn't know if it was like I see somebody taking, their kids in a stroller to listing appointments.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. So,
You do what you have to
you're
do.
only licensed in New York, right? Just to be clear, you're not
Yes.
licensed anywhere else. Okay, so walk us through like a normal day in your shoes. Like, what is a normal day? You wake up, what time? What is walk us through a normal day.
So I'm not an early riser, I'll be honest with you, but I do
Mhm.
stay up late. But I mean, I'll get up at like 7, 7.
That's pretty early.
Yeah, 7, 8, like around there. And then, I'll have my time to myself. I'll have my cup of tea. I was a coffee drinker, but I switched over to tea
I've
and
been
I'll have
doing tea
coffee.
too. What kind
Yeah,
of
once.
tea?
Just English breakfast
Okay,
or
I've been
any
doing
kind
like
of black
regular
tea.
Lipton tea or black mango tea myself.
Okay, yeah. So I'm a tea drinker, so I'll have tea. I'll have some time to myself. I'll take that hour to maybe just kind of I'm guilty of it, but I do scroll through my phone around that time.
That's fine.
And then yeah, at 9 o'clock,
That's where the money is.
yeah, I mean, look, I'll do like a post or something, or I'll just, share. I do a lot of postings on stories lately. So I'll post on stories. Like today was the first of the month. So, happy October, welcome to fall. people, you want to be top of mind. So I do post every day on my social media.
Yeah, I
And
noticed your Monday market Mondays or something. What is it called?
Maria's Monday Market Update. Yeah,
Yes,
I'll
yes.
do
Tell
that.
us about that. Yeah.
So I'll try to do that every Monday. I've been doing it for I think it's got to be like 3 or 4 years now. It's a long
Yeah.
time. I did stop a little
Consistency.
bit over the summer, but I'll continue that because people are interested. And when I don't do it, they notice.
Yes, yes. Yeah, like I don't think you did it yesterday, did you?
I did. I did.
Oh, you did
Yes.
do it yesterday. I
I
didn't
did it
see
from the
it.
car. So I was out. So yes, Mondays are like my busiest day for some reason. So yesterday I was out showing my listing in Ronkonkoma. We're trying to get it under contract. So we had to finish up a couple of things. So working on that. And then we have to find that seller a house. So I was out showing. I did 6 showings yesterday
Wow.
with her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
six
then,
in one day.
so I
Wow.
was, and then I came back. And then in the evening, it's like whatever else I need to finish up and, just stuff around normal day, like stuff, I still have to, cook and do that.
How did you find that lead that in Ronkonkoma? How did you find that client?
So most of I would say 90% of my business this year is from referral business. So it's from a
Nice.
previous client.
It made me happy because the other day you posted something on Instagram. You said that a client hit you up from a year ago saying that they liked working with you and they hit you up a year later, which actually made me happy because that makes me feel like, the people that I'm working with now who maybe dropped off or whatever the case is, it made me feel like they might hit me up a year or 2 years from now. You just never know, right?
You just never know. And if you make an impression with them or if they bond with you, like I think it's very important to connect with people. It's not only like,
Leave an
okay,
impression.
what?
To leave an impression, to leave a
Leave
good
an
impression.
impression, have that connection with people. You know what? Everybody has different interests. You're not going to end up connecting with everybody. Let's face it. Hopefully, I mean, it would be great if you could, but at the end of the day, you want to have that connection with people, and there's something you could connect with people. Oh, there's always something, whether they have kids or maybe that you have something in common with them. Maybe they share a hobby. Like the other day, I went on a listing appointment and they had a rowing machine. And I had to laugh because I bought myself a rowing machine and I never use it. And I said to them, I said, did you ever use your rowing machine? And they laughed and they're like, well, we intended to use it when we bought it. And I'm like, yeah, I intended to use it when I bought it too. And I used it a couple of times. And I said, my kids make fun of me because now I have this rowing machine sitting in my basin that I keep telling myself I'm going to use it.
Right, right. We all have something like that, but those little comments make a difference because now you connect. That creates a connection, and now that connection could lead to a closing. So those little comments matter, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know what? There's always something. I guess my superhero trait is I could probably talk to anybody. I could find something to talk to
I feel
people
like that
about.
too. Yeah, like I drive Uber and I feel like I connect with many, many different customers, different personalities. I feel like it's kind of good to like sort of have a flexible personality and to be able to get along with different types of people, which is really good for life and for business, right? Would you?
Yeah, it's awesome for that. And yes, I actually, when I met you, I felt like you were very easygoing and I felt really, you made me feel comfortable and being able to talk to you. And
Yeah, thanks. I feel like it's funny because I have met so many very, very unfriendly realtors, so many. And I always think in my head, like, that has to affect your business. The way that you're so unfriendly, that has to affect your business. It has to. Am
yeah,
I crazy for that?
I don't understand. I mean, it's a people business we're in, and if you're not happy with it, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. That's how I feel too. And I've met, you know what? I've been fortunate to meet a lot of friendly realtors.
Yeah.
But there were a couple that I came across that just either didn't want to cooperate with me or wouldn't, and then I'm like, all right. And, like I just continued being myself and they just either became more miserable or more angry but that's about them. That's not about us, Christian. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
That's maybe they're dealing with something in their life
Yeah,
that's
well,
making them
definitely.
feel
They're
like
definitely
that.
dealing with something. But like even if they're in a different brokerage, right? Say they're in a completely different brokerage, I still feel like it's really, really important to be on good terms with everybody. Like even if they're at Coldwell, we're Home Smart, but it doesn't matter. Like You have to, reputation is everything. Warren Buffett said it. Reputation is everything, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know what? We're a community, realtors. I don't think people realize realtors, lenders, attorney, we're a community. So if you're having a bad attitude with any agent, you know what? People are going to know about that in the community. Not that I'm the one to go talk about it, but if somebody, they're gonna people, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So you should remember that if you want to do business with the people that's, I mean, we might have a deal with each other,
Yes.
and you're gonna yell at me or something, like how's that gonna, you know,
It makes you want to
translate?
work with other people.
It makes you not want to work with that person.
Exactly. Exactly.
Unfortunately. So I think it's important, even if, I think at the end of the day, look, we're a community. Everybody knows each other. I mean, how many times have you come across a deal where you're like, oh, I know that listing agent. I
Yeah.
called a listing agent the other day from, I think it was another firm. It was like, hey, how are you? I'd love to have a deal with you. It, we have a great working relationship. We haven't had a deal together, but it hasn't been the right terms, the right buyer. But one day when I do have a deal with that agent, I know it's going to be great because, why are we making it difficult for each other? We're all in it for the same reason.
I think that one reason why is because some realtors look at other realtors as competition. Do you view other realtors in different brokerages as competition?
No,
Or
we're our own competition. I'm competing. I'm not competing against you. There's how many houses are there, Christian? Oops.
well,
Sorry
on Long
about.
Island, thousands
That's what
of
I'm
them.
saying. Like, so you know what? Even if I could, my mentality is this, even if I'm competing against you for that listing, if that other agent gets that listing, or if I get that listing, you know what? I'm happy for them. Good. You know what? Great. You know what? They probably did something I didn't do. And you know what? I'll try next time. There's other listings to be had. I'm not going to be mad at you if you got that listing. That's just
There's always
maybe
the
you
next
vibe.
house.
What?
There's always the next house.
You know what, if you're ruminating about or whatever, if you're thinking about, oh my god, I didn't get this listing, and you know what, I'm mad, and um you
Resentful.
know then I'd be like, you're not busy enough to, you got to move on. If you're busy, it's not going to affect you.
Right. So what is your very favorite thing about being a realtor?
My favorite thing about being a realtor, I would say being the interactions with people, everyday interactions with different people, meeting different people, and having the relationships. And it's more of a relationship business right now. And that's the most important thing. You're building relationships. It's not just a client relationship, it's beyond that. I've gotten invited to weddings, baby showers, and you're making your friends. And I think it's awesome.
You like the social aspect of it.
I'm
Of
very social. Yes. I
yes.
love the social aspect of it.
Yeah. So for you it's more about that than the money.
Yeah. Listen, we're in a business, we're working, we all need to make money. But for me, it's more, I love what I do. And I feel like when you love what you do, you're gonna, you're gonna do well in whatever you love what you do.
Yeah, there's one of my favorite quotes is enjoy or love your job and you won't work a day in your life. And it's interesting because when you look at like most people, the vast majority of people hate their jobs. And it's really sad, isn't it?
Yeah, that's really sad when you don't like what you do. Why, there's so many different options that you could do something else. If you don't like what you do, it's going to come out in the way you present yourself. If you love what you do, people are going to know it. People are going
Well,
to know when
that's
they
the
meet
beauty of
you.
America. You can always switch jobs whenever you want.
Right. And you know what? Think about it. When you're loving something, when you're showing, it's coming out, your enthusiasm, your passion, and that's what people like. I feel like that's what people like. If you show them that you're passionate about it, that you want to help somebody, it's more than just your transaction. This is what I do. This is how I'm going to help you. I'm vested. I'm empathetic with certain people. Like I'm working with somebody right now, and I have to find them something, and I'm searching what best options would work for them, the pros and cons of what they want to do, and what eventually I mean, look, there's a lot involved. It's not like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna sell your house and, find you a house and, you know, that's it. You have to take into account before you even list that house, what are your different options? What can you buy a house? Can you rent? What can we do? It's not, you have to take everything into account.
Right.
What is the best
But
situation for you?
yes, everyone has their own situation. What is the worst thing about being a realtor? Your least favorite thing?
I think
Too many to name?
no, you know what? I well, lately it's when the sign company I use, I was telling Rich, I said they destroyed my sign and they don't care. When people don't care, when people don't care is the worst thing. I feel like I care about a lot of things. I just don't like when people don't care.
What do you mean
I'm
they destroyed your sign? What do you mean by that?
the way they put it up, they
Hmm.
just
Blew it up?
they ripped it, and
Oh.
I just feel like I guess the worst part of the business is anybody that doesn't care, whether it's a realtor or one of my network partners, when I care and they don't, or whether it's somebody putting up my sign, when somebody doesn't give the care that's necessary, I guess that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Like you just don't care. I
Yeah.
don't I don't like that. I feel like anything you do, you should do with care.
When
And
they don't treat you like a human being.
yeah, I mean, just when people, just in general, when people don't care, like I don't know, I don't understand how people can't care about another human being or care about what happens to in anything, in any transaction. When people care and show they care, that means a lot to me.
Empathy.
Empathy. I'm empathetic.
Yes. Yes, very empathetic. And it bothers you when people are low in empathy. And we could have a whole psychological discussion about this, but that's a whole nother topic. What do you think
Yeah,
about
like
go ahead.
exactly.
What do you think about teams? Like I'm on the Cost Scout team. What do you think about teams?
So, I mean, listen, it's great. It works for certain people. It doesn't work for other people. Like I've been asked to be on a team. I love being a solo agent, but I do collaborate with other people.
Mhm.
I haven't really found anybody that I'd be happy being on a team with or even forming my own team at this point. I've thought about it, but I think I just like being a solo agent. I like being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And being part of a team means being a team player. And it's not that I'm not a team player, but right now I just feel like I run things my way at this point in time. And, I work well with other people, so I don't see the need to form a team. And I do have people that could cover me when I do go away or I can't be available. So I have a good collaboration with people.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, teams are okay if it's right for you, whatever's right for you.
Yeah, I could tell that you like your freedom
Yeah, I like to do what I want to do. And, I don't,
and when you want to
I'm
do
not
it.
going to tell when I want to do it.
Well,
I mean,
I
it works well for me. How is working with you being on team?
I mean, for me, it's good. Well, what I was gonna say is, I feel like it's really good for new agents because new agents don't know what they're doing. New agents don't know anyone. They don't know what they're doing. Their foot is barely in the game. So I feel like it's really, really good for new agents. But for people 7, 8 years and up, maybe not so much,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, listen, I always like to help agents. If there's anything I could do, I'm fine. Like I like to mentor other agents, even just to help them because I want everybody to succeed. I feel like you're in this, we're in this. It's difficult. I remember what it's like to be a new agent. So if I could help any new agent in any way and they reach out to me, I'm here, I'm here for you.
Yes. Yeah, and it's sad because I can tell that you're like definitely one of the more like selfless and empathetic agents when there are some who will just leave you in the dust, right?
No, I know. You know what? I just found when I was a newer agent, a lot of the agents, I mean, there were some really great exceptions. Like my mentor was awesome. But I found like a lot of agents kind of were like in a huddle, like we're not going to share our secrets, and I'm not going to tell you how to succeed. You're on your own. And I just feel like you could tell people, it's almost like a recipe. You
Mm.
could tell people how to make creme brulee, but everybody's going to make it different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not share your recipe and why not see other people succeed? And then, you know what? If you had a hand in doing that, you know what? It makes you feel like it makes me feel good. I don't know. Maybe other people don't feel that way, but I don't, I feel like a newer agent, they don't, you know what? You could take the test, you could read the material, but the real true test of being a real estate agent is when you're in the field and doing it full time, I feel like, and then at that point, you still need mentoring. You still need training. You can't, it's like when you're alone, it's like you feel so alone, you know? So you do need, I think, as agents, we should be available and helping other newer agents because we were there once. Just remember how it felt. Again, empathy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell you're very big on empathy, and which, it plays a very large role in business, in my opinion. Should people today buy or rent?
I mean, it depends on each individual situation. I think it's great if you can and you have the down payment and you have the uh, experience and you're in a position where you're in a job and you have goals. I think it's always great to look into buying before renting because when you're renting, I've rented for a few years. That's it. You're not building equity. You're not getting that money back. You're paying your landlord's mortgage. So if you could afford to buy, I would say definitely go that route. And if not, develop a plan. Always, a plan. I feel like it's very important to have a plan in place. Like I had a couple adorable couple, they came to me, they didn't know if they should rent or buy. And I said, well, do you have money it's important to have money for your down payment. And once they told me no, I was like, okay. Um, do you have,
Interesting.
closing costs? No, we don't have any money saved. We're getting married next week. So, I mean, you need money to buy a house. At the end of the day, if you don't have anything saved or a down payment, you know what? Work towards it. Now you know this is what you work towards. Maybe rent for a year or two,
Mhm.
and then maybe you're not ready to buy right now. Maybe you have other expenses. You have your wedding, you have other expenses. Maybe you have schooling. So it's not buying isn't right for everybody because when you buy a property, you also have to maintain it. So you need
Yes.
money to maintain it. So how about if you buy something with your last penny and then the boiler breaks or you
All
need
day
a new
house
roof?
broke.
Exactly. So it's not for everybody. So, but the thing is, if you can, I definitely think you should work towards it and eventually buy something because it is important to have equity and have your own house and build up that investment. Like we bought our house 20 years ago and we're still paying almost the same monthly rate, where if we had rented, it would have been double what we're paying now. And, plus we have like probably double the equity. So
Yes.
it's an investment. It's a legacy to leave for your kids too. If it's not going to be for you, maybe we leave the house for our kids. Maybe they can't afford to buy.
Yeah.
So,
What was the interest rate back then when you bought your house?
well, I ended up locking it in. Well, we refinanced a couple of times, so I started at 5.5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a little higher, and then we ended up refinancing, and now it's like 250 or something.
You can't get that. You can't beat that.
You can't
That
beat
that that
that. I
rate
mean,
will never come
no,
again.
no, my brother bought during the pandemic, and he ended up getting a rate of 199.
Well, during the pandemic, yeah. I mean, but what will that rate ever come again?
It's going to be a while, but they are coming back down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
mean,
fun.
to hear the number one is crazy. That's amazing, guys.
I know. I don't know anybody that had that rate actually. So I
And
was
it makes
pretty
me upset
impressed.
because I wasn't a realtor during COVID, and I heard houses were flying during COVID, and I still think about it to this day. Like, man, I really wish I was a realtor back then.
You know what? You can't look back.
Yeah.
You're a realtor now. You have to look forward and you have to do just do the best you can now. And
It's hard not to look back. It's hard when you miss a giant wave. It's hard not to look back. Should new agents seek a trainer?
I think it's important to have a mentor. As a new agent, you definitely should have a mentor and have you. So this way, there's a lot of first. There's first listing appointment, there's first buyer consultation. And with all the new rules in place, I think somebody should guide you because you don't want to do anything wrong or you want to basically stick to the fair housing rules. There's certain things you need to know. And yes, you learn them in your textbook, but you should learn it from some experienced agent. So a mentor, I think, is very important. And I think a mentor helped me succeed in my business.
Oh, you did have a mentor in the beginning.
I did.
And just for to make it clear, mentors they're not free. We usually pay them or we usually split a commission with them. That
So that's yeah. So mentors, so I started at Century 21 and
oh
they had a mentoring program. HomeSmart, I think, has a mentoring program now too.
Mhm.
So yes, you do split it, but I think it makes you learn the business quicker and rather than navigate things on your own.
Yes, I mean, in my opinion, every new agent should have a team, either a team or a mentor. I would say, in from my experience so far, I think a team is actually better than a mentor. But a mentor is better than nothing at all. From my experience, that's how I
Well,
feel.
as long as you have a good team lead, which you do, so as long as they're training you and available, my mentor was available. Like I think if you have a team lead that doesn't spend time with you and just making money off your wants to make money off your transactions, then it's like, all right, why am I part of this? It's
Right.
somebody that has to be guiding you and giving you information and making the time for you and
Helping you get leads too.
helping you get leads. That's what I was going to say. Yep.
So that was my next question. Where do you get your leads from?
So this year it's been mostly referral business, but I'm part of some of the lead networks too, like Redfin and Opcity and but I've met people in diners where they turned into like, I ended up finding them a house in another state, I referred them to another agent, so
Oh,
I just talk to people.
right. Well, I don't know. Kickbacks are technically illegal, right?
Well, it's a referral fee. It's not a
Uh,
kickback.
okay. Explain the difference between a referral fee and a kickback.
So a kickback, so like if I use a lender, I mean, and then say, oh, I want money from that. I would never do that. All I want is a referral partner that does a great job for me.
Mhm.
Um, I'm gonna, but a referral fee is like we have a network of realtors all over the country, all over internationally. So if we find out that somebody is looking for a house in Texas, I have a referral partner in Texas and I could recommend them. So I'm familiar with who they are and I know they're going to do a good job for that person. And then realtors get a referral fee from that.
Yeah, I have yet to do that. And that's what I love about this business though. Like there are different ways to make money. It doesn't have to be a closing. It could be, a referral fee, so that's another thing I love about this business. And like a referral fee has a really, really good like work to money ratio because it's not much work on your end to refer someone, but you can get hundreds or even thousands of dollars for a referral fee, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not really like what I do for my business, but if it happens, it happens. Like people have referred business to me and then I've given them a referral fee that, I got a referral this year for a rental. I've gotten a referral last year for a listing. And, they give me the terms and I'm happy, I'll accommodate whatever, it's nice if it works out, then they get a referral fee for me also. So it goes both ways.
One hand washes the other.
Right.
Do you think the interest rates and home prices will lower anytime soon?
So interest rates, basically they adjusted for the Fed cut the rate, so that's related to the mortgage rates as well, and they accounted for that already. So they came down earlier in the year, and right now, I mean, they're a little, they're coming down slowly, but they're not exactly where, 2%, but they're like I've heard as low as like the fives now. Some
Yeah, because
people
I think at its highest this year it was like seven. What was it?
said
Seven. Yeah. So at least they came down somewhat.
it came
What
down
about
somewhat.
what about home prices? Do you think those will come down anytime soon?
So right now, based on like what I'm seeing with the past few listings I've had, buyers are a little bit more cautious about putting an offer right away, like during the pandemic. I mean, they would see a house and they put an offer in within 5 minutes. I
Yeah.
think they're analyzing more, but I think the house prices are still because the buyer demand is higher than the amount of listings right now. They're still getting over asking on a lot of these
Yeah.
houses. So I think right now it depends on supply and demand. If we see a lot more listings come up on the market, things may change. But right now, I feel like it's still a seller's market
I was about
on
to
Long
say that, yeah.
Island. I mean, it's going more a little bit towards a balanced market, but it's still a seller's market.
Right. And as a realtor, do you prefer a seller's market or do you prefer a buyer's market? Like from a purely financial perspective, do you think that a seller's market is better for realtors or do you think a buyer's market from a purely financial perspective?
I mean, if you're a listing agent in a seller's market, it's a seller's market. Things, it makes it easier to sell the property. Especially if you market right, price it well. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it.
Hmm.
But I think in a seller's market, things move quickly. So if one buyer backs out, there's another buyer,
Right. Right. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's easier to be a listing agent in a
in a
seller's
seller's
market.
market.
And
Right.
listing agents, a listing is really like the top, the best thing, the best part of our industry, right?
Well,
Essentially.
it's kind of like somebody said to me that it's like employer employee. I mean, look, I work with buyers and sellers, but being a listing agent is kind of like being the employer and being a buyer's agent is being like an employee, which is fine, but that's how like it was compared to me.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
it was described to me.
That's a great metaphor. I never heard of it like that. What do you think about cold calling? Because some people say it isn't effective, some people say it's annoying. What do you think about cold calling? Do you think it's effective?
Well, it's funny you say that. So I don't cold call a lot, but I think it's very effective. I was doing it this morning. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't like to do it. And I think if you do it, there has been a lot of success with it.
Yeah, I've been cold calling and I haven't had too much success, but I'm sure Well, where do you get your numbers from?
Well, there's different dialers. So I know people that cold call through Mojo and Vulcan. I think that's probably the best way to do it. Or if you have a list of people in the neighborhood and then you have phone numbers that way.
What about FISBOs? Do you call FISBOs for sale by owners for the
I've
people?
done that. I've actually called and expired a few days ago, and we had a great connection. And they told me to reach out in a couple of months. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I heard that a lot of people like have good luck with for sale by owners as far as cold calling goes. So that's probably something I need to do more, call FISBOs more. What is my next how do you feel? Okay, so my next question is actually good for you in particular because we went door knocking together. So how do you feel about door knocking? Because some people hate it, some people love it. How do you feel about door knocking?
So I mean, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. I love it. I mean, listen, I don't bother people, but I go, I have my door hangers. Especially when you do it with somebody else, you connect with that person. It's fun. You're getting in your exercise, and you know, we I had a little success with it a couple of times. I've gotten one listing from it, and we've gotten a listing appointment from it. So it's again the connection. Like if they're seeing you, I'm very good face to face. So if they're seeing me face to face and you know letting them talk, give me the information, and they have my number, and at least they know who they're dealing with. It's not a call. They're seeing me face to face, so they know who I am.
Yeah, a lot of people have the theory that, it's much more effective when you meet the person and when they see you face to face, because now there's intimacy as opposed to cold calling where there's no intimacy and there's no eye contact. So a lot of people feel that door knocking is much more effective than any sort of cold calling or, messaging on Instagram because there's face to face intimacy.
I mean, I think they're both great, but everybody has their different ways of working. It's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever you like to do. Like I want to make my career fun, so this is what I'm going to do once, like I'll set a schedule and I'll do this once a week, once a month, whatever I decide, like if this is what I want to do, but I prefer this over that, like some people prefer cold calling over door knocking. Some people hate door knocking.
Yeah.
Other people hate cold calling. So it's like what works for you. Everything, there's different
Subjective.
methods for everybody. I don't think any one of them are wrong. I think whatever you're comfortable with, and maybe even get out of your comfort zone. Maybe try cold calling when you hate it. And I've done that today. I don't like it, but I'll do it because I know it works.
Yeah, that's a great answer because different things work for different people. And what I would say is that they're all effective they're all effective. It's just it's a matter of style, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I actually asked you this a while back. I don't know if you remember, but I'll ask you again. Did you ever think about opening up your own brokerage?
I have actually, but right now I don't see a reason to. With HomeSmart being 100%
Mhm.
and providing the support and having uh my colleagues that I really get along with really well. I love it there, so I don't see a reason for it right now, but maybe eventually I'd be open to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of weight on your shoulders and probably in many ways a lot more work. But the reward is also higher at the same time, right?
Yes.
Right. So do you have any tips for new agents? What are some of your tips?
Well, pretty much what we discussed. Either find a mentor, a team, or you're never alone in this business. There's somebody out there that's willing to help you, I feel like. And it's if you could afford coaching, some coaching is free. Watch videos, watch podcasts,
Yes.
just learn as much information as you can, go to classes and just really learn the business, I would say the first year, and just try to be out there and actually get those interactions with buyers and sellers and like not practice but just be out there, and the more you're out there, the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah,
And do video.
yes, yes. I think that the number one answer for me is joining a team. I think that's a great number one. In my opinion, that's the number one tip for a new agent. So we only have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to ask my last question. What is your long-term plan? Your 5 year, 10 year? What is your long-term plan?
So I've actually set goals for myself every year. I try to set goals for myself every year. My 5 year plan, I mean, look, this is a career that I love, and I'm going to just keep trying to do better and better. I don't Maybe my 5 year plan is to either form my own team or start my own brokerage, possibly. But I think I'm leaning towards possibly maybe in 5 years forming my own team. I'm
Like
not sure.
being a team leader?
Team leader. I'm thinking that that might be a good 5 year plan. I'm not 100% sure, but if that was going to be something I would do, I think in the future, because eventually, maybe 15 years from now, I want to retire. So I think having that network of people that work and eventually pass it on to them, pass on the leads to them, that might be a good idea eventually, because I'll step back from doing it as much as I do.
And when you start your own team, don't you have to split commissions? Like even when you close, you'll have to split a commission with them, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, eventually I'm going to retire, maybe 15 years from now, 20 years from now. So I'm not going to want to work as much, but I might still want to. I love it. I mean, I don't see myself ever retiring fully. So maybe having a team and letting other people do more. I think that's probably like more my 5 to 10 year goal.
Maria, it was great talking to you.
You too, Christian. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time, Maria. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and wishing
Yes.
you lots of success in your business as
You too,
well.
Maria. Thanks a lot. Take care.